Hello, I'm Andy Martins. Welcome to ONNPoint, a brand new show on TV. And my guests today will be Derk, Pearce, and Freda. Both were candidates for councillor in 2018. We'll be back with Derk Pearce right after these commercials.
Great business idea but don't know where to start? Need help taking your business to the next level? C2C Business Services can be your guide in navigating the path of entrepreneurship, with services ranging from grant funding support, access to service experts, market information, and helping your business adopt new technologies to create and foster a culture of innovation for ongoing success. Call C2C Business Services and let them be your first step in taking your entrepreneurial dreams from concept to commerce. C2C Business Services is a division of the Sault Ste. Marie Innovation Centre.
Stopping and nothing, I'm up in your face, shaking it off, no matter the cost. I'm feeling the wind, I'm taking it all, I'm paving the way with the sweat and the blood. I'm at the top, rising above. I want the gold, give me the rush, Queen Midas, I got the touch. I'm pushing, 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 I'm pushing.
Welcome back to ONNPoint. I'm Andy Martins, and it's a thrill to start off a brand new show with Derk Pearce, who was a candidate for councillor in 2018. Derk, 8 months has already passed since the municipal election. Where's the time gone?
Yeah, I know. It only feels like yesterday that we were waiting for the votes to come in, and thank you for having me here today, Andy. It's a pleasure to come in and see the ONNtv studios.
No problem. Thanks for coming in. Let's start with this. The city of Sault Ste. Marie recently had the new rebranding and logo, and to this day, I don't understand the logo. The rebranding is okay, but to me, the community consultation and public consultation are two different things, and the city, in my opinion, did not consult publicly. What do you think about that?
Well, I think, first of all, the logo that we got shows nothing about what the Soo is about. It's really poorly done. It doesn't show any aspect of our city's life. And that the fact that when they did go to consultation, they didn't actually consult the public. They just went to places in the community where they know that they'll get the reaction that they wanted, like Algoma U and Sioux College. And if you look at those places, you know, those aren't really places where regular citizens live. Those are students from out of town and stuff like that. So did the public really have consultation in this logo? I think not.
Well, exactly. I looked at it this morning before I came to the studio, and you have to literally conclude that because they included people that have a direct council has a direct impact in, like you mentioned, the groups that are involved. And one has to ask the question, did they know ahead of time, before they did launched it, what the reaction was in the town of Whitby? And if they did, that could be one explanation why they didn't have public consultation. And so where do we go from here? I don't think this is going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah, judging by the what I've seen online from the feedback and stuff like that, a lot of people didn't expect it. So like I said, the public was not consulted. What I would do for the city is I would scrap the entire thing. And there was a teenager, actually, Sue Online did a story about him, Matt Farrell, who did a fantastic logo, which is exactly the route I would have went. Update the current logo that we have, bring it into the future, and just come up with a new tagline and slogan for the city. And during the campaign, while I was campaigning, I actually wrote an article or submitted an article to Sue Online, giving them a perfectly good slogan. I believe it was Sault Ste. Marie powered or built on steel, powered by nature. So it's not hard to find something that fits Sault Ste. Marie. Obviously, they just didn't try hard enough.
Well, I mean, this could be, I've always said it's council's job to create the right conditions. I said this from day one of being here 30 years ago. Perhaps this could be considered as setting the right conditions, but this rebranding is not a magic pill for thousands of youth and others to come back to this community.
Yeah, well, once again, with the logo, the city is also supposed to be provide good stewardship for our money, and with the money that was spent on this and the feedback that we're getting, obviously, the public doesn't like it. Is it going to bring more people here? I don't think so. I think it was just a huge waste of money. Like I said, you should have gave the money to this young teenager, Matt Farrell, who did this logo for the Sioux. I don't see why they didn't find a local company, somebody, who lives and works here that could do it. It boggles me. It's weird.
Exactly. Let's move on to the ratepayers issue of audit and accountability fund application. You've been part of the ratepayers. Can you let the viewers know what essentially this is all about? There was a letter from Lorna Rudolph over the last couple of days. Can you enlighten our viewers to what's at stake here, essentially?
Yeah, so I haven't been actually at ratepayers meetings in a while, but I think I have the gist of what you're asking. The ratepayers were asking for a line-by-line audit of city finances. That means a complete looking through of everything to make sure that where we're spending money is needed and possibly finding any wasted areas. One example could be the logo. Do we really need to spend all this money on something that expensive, or could we have it done cheaper? City council is supposed to be the stewards of our money, which is city taxes that goes into their coffers. So the line-by-line audit that the ratepayers want, that's what they're hoping to accomplish with it. Can we find money being spent elsewhere and use it where it needs to be used and not where it's being wasted?
Single sourcing seems to be a problem here. The city, I guess, wants KPMG to do it, but the ratepayers are saying that that's not good enough, that the Premier insisted that it be an independent audit.
Yeah, single sourcing is never the way to go in a city. I think when you have a city tender process, it should be fair and it should be open to everybody. That means even this teenager, Matt Farrell, you can't keep going to one person or a group of people for the same stuff over and over again. You gotta be fair, open, and wanting and willing to go anywhere for it. Because even though option one might look well and be cost effective, there might be other options out there that are even better and look even better. And if you single source, that means you don't look at other options. You just go with one option and you say that's the one we're going to use. So you don't give any chance to anybody else, which to me I find is vastly unfair.
Well, during my working career, that's certainly the case. From what I understand of the procurement process, usually the rule of thumb was 3 quotes in any RFP request for proposal.
why do we have to limit it at just 3? I would hope that you would open it up to as many people as possible. You want to bring people to Sault Ste. Marie, and you want to, provide jobs for our people. So why not look here, there, and everywhere?
What do you think the outcome of this is going to be? Is this going to be an ongoing issue for the rest of 2019?
I think so. There's a lot of people upset about the way the money was spent and stuff like that. So will it get the traction that it needs to have it happen? Maybe. We're not too sure. We'll have to wait and see. I have faith in the ratepayers, though. They're a great group of people, and they truly want what's best for the Sioux. So they'll keep pushing, and we'll see what City Hall does.
What do you say to those people, though, that are saying, well, the Premier wanted this after the fact, the budgets are set, tax rates are set. Now, if the province wants additional 4% saving, this will possibly result in a whole new tax increase for the people of Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah, and see, the thing with tax increases here in Sault Ste. Marie, we don't need any more tax increases. We've had enough over the last couple years. The city needs to find savings wherever they can. I know I said it through the campaign, transit was one of the things that the city seems to be spending a lot of money on. They buy old buses and they break down a lot, causing more, maintenance costs. So, a line-by-line audit of every city financial department could find a savings where, we didn't think they were. And even though the budgets are already set, you do them every year. So we might not have found these savings this year, but next year we can find these savings and put that money to good use.
Well, the ratepayers are arguing that the department heads aren't digging down deep enough, I guess, that more savings can be found, that there really are there, but they're not being brought forward.
Well, some say there are some people in City Hall, that like doing things one way and they'll keep doing it that way forever. So, sometimes change is needed, and without change, you don't get growth. So we got to stop doing the same thing that we've done in the last 20 years. We need to change the way we do things and start looking at a better future. Change is inevitable. It happens, and if the provincial government forces the city to do this audit, then they're going to have to do it regardless. So why not just do it? Get it over with and not worry about it anymore.
Exactly. Well, Derk, our segment flew by. Thank you very much for coming in.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
On the first ONNpoint show. And we'll be back right after these messages.
When you support the Restore, it helps Habitat for Humanity build affordable housing for families. How does this work? New and gently used goods are donated to the Restore. The sale of these goods generate funds for building homes. For every $1 spent at the Restore, there is a $4 return on investment within our community. For example, Habitat homeowners have better educational outlook, increased employment stability, improved health, and reduction in the use of social services. Every donation and every dollar we receive through the Restore helps build sustainable housing for future homeowners. Everyone needs a foundation to build a future. To find out more and how you can help, drop by the Restore at 32 White Oak Drive or go to habitatsioux.ca.
At 4:45, discover all kinds of treasures and never pay more than $5. Inventory is restocked every Saturday, and you can find anything from electronics to household items, toys, and much, much more. On Saturday, everything is $5 and the price goes down throughout the week, ending with 25 cents on Friday. We restock weekly with new items from various big box stores, so you never know what treasures you can find. Come visit us at 4:45, 2510 Ashman Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Andy Martins. This is ONNPoint, and my next guest is former councillor of Ward 5, Frank Freda. Frank, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Andy. Appreciate being here.
On the first show, it's a thrill. Thank you very much. Derek and I talked in the first segment about the city of Sault Ste. Marie rebranding and doing the logo. You were there. It's a 2-year process. We concluded that community consultation and public consultation are two different things. What's your feeling about that, what the approach that the city used?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, Andy, first of all, I would have been one of the ones that voted against it. I certainly wasn't very impressed with the way that it was all laid out. They stressed that they had public consultation and that, but as far as I'm concerned, that wasn't totally the case. I think the decisions were made by a handful of individuals, as far as I'm concerned, and they just went through the process to lay it out. And as far as I'm concerned, as you can see, I'm wearing the logo that I prefer. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, no, the process was not done well. And I wasn't, as many people out there, I'm certainly not impressed with the logo. I'm certainly not happy with the costs that were involved in terms of coming up with this logo. So all in all, I would say quite simply and quite frankly that I'm not very happy with the process, and I'm not happy with the outcome.
Well, I took a look at this before I came to the studio, and I really have to be honest with myself that it has to be. The community consultation was with groups that are directly affected from funding of city council and so on and so forth. So my motto for this new show is going to be, I report and the viewers decide. But public consultation needs to be in the process.
Well, I'll tell you something. Over the years, when I would speak to the executives at the Economic Development Corporation, and I would voice my opinion about matters of input from them, I think it's important that they would have input as to the process that we use in terms of attracting industry and maybe speaking on things such as the high industrial tax rate here in Sault Ste. Marie. And
right.
Most times when I spoke to to like Tom Dodds and John Fabrero and so forth, the feedback that I generally received from the EDC was that we got to be careful how we criticize the process because after all they do receive funding from the city, so you don't bite the hand that feeds you. So during the course of those years on council, I found that we weren't getting the best amount of information, shall I say, in terms of the best foot forward as far as the city and
right.
attracting industry and so on. So in the case of the logo, I think the same thing applies. I think we just had it was handed out. I think it was all done prematurely. I think the logos for the T-shirts and so forth were already made out before the decision of council. Right. So, in my opinion, the whole process was flawed.
Well, I have to think the reason they went with the community consultation is because perhaps people knew what an effect it had caused already in the town of Whitby, so knowing that. But Frank, can you outline for our viewers, this was started, I believe, in October of 2017, why took almost a year and a half or more to get it done. Do you think it was a lengthier process than it needed to be?
It probably was a lengthier process than it needed to be, yes. And I can't really give you the specifics as to why it took that long. I mean, it certainly doesn't look like something that would have taken all that long to create, that's for sure. So why it took that long, I mean, that's something that I really can't speak on personally, but looking at the end result, I'm certainly not impressed.
Well, exactly. It's not a magic pill. Perhaps it could be considered as creating the right conditions, but still a long way to go. Let's move on to the downtown briefly. They seem to be moving, the mayor and council seem to be moving on the downtown now in the second term. But my question is that why wasn't the same gung-ho movement of the mayor and council back in 2014? It seems to be going better now, but basically a whole term went by where much wasn't done.
So your question to me then is there's more movement now as far as
on
downtown?
The downtown with the murals and getting things spruced up than there was back in 2014, the last term prior to the election.
Maybe part of the problem was that they spent too much money on Gore Street and they had to hold off for more funding because the way I view what happened on Gore Street, and a number of people that I've spoken to think that we went a little bit overboard on Gore Street in terms of expenditure. So, but you know something, a lot of this that we're talking about here, I think has to do with economics. You know, in terms of the downtown, I mean, you know, you could make it just so attractive, but at the end of the day, you know, if someone's going to locate downtown, they're going to see that that's a good location. They're going to see that the price is right as far as rental. If they're renting or if they're buying, the price is right as far as buying. But you know, the city can only do so much in terms of creating an environment where businesses will locate downtown and expand and so forth. And it's always a challenge downtown, as it is in any other municipality. You know, it doesn't happen in one just by the city being involved heavily. It's more of a combination of things where the economy has to be good and healthy, and certainly we can see what's going on with the Station Mall in terms of economics. I mean, obviously things are going south as far as the Station Mall is concerned. Now, whether they're pricing themselves out of the market as far as rental rates in the mall, I don't know, but I know that downtown is always going to be a challenge, and it's nice to see places like Reggie's back in operation. Right.
Interesting you mentioned the Station Mall. That was my next area of questioning. And again, it's an area where the mayor and council will not get involved with. As a citizen, I've taken the initiative to talk to CentreCorp, and I sense a very casual attitude, with them, because I've made it clear that I've gotten the pulse of the people here, and that, what they do with Station Mall affects everything. It affects the way people feel. It affects how you can bring new people in to this community, because let's face it, if you don't have a mall that's functioning, it's an image that you're projecting. Absolutely. Walmart is closing. I found out the real reason why Walmart is closing, because they weren't allowed to expand, and they're raising the rent. So again, the politicians unfortunately aren't able to contribute to this process.
It's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. And what will happen to the mall in the next 6 months to 18 months is anybody's guess. I mean, when you're lacking the two major anchors, you're not in a very good position. So in terms of attracting other smaller retailers to the Station Mall is going to be a challenge. But that's up to the owners. They're the ones who got to deal with that, and it's something that the city shouldn't be involved with. They're not setting the rates, and let's hope that they can pick things up, because it is considered to be a focal point of downtown. As far as I'm concerned, it draws a lot of people downtown when it's reasonably full, and at this point in time, it's not the case.
I've got less than a minute to go, Frank. Just quickly, if you want to give me a quick answer on how do you think the city will do in 2019?
Well, we're already halfway through 2019, so we've only got 6 months to go. It's
right.
There's reason for a sense of optimism. Thank God that the steel tariffs have been removed from Algoma Steel. That's a huge, positive for our city.
Right.
And we certainly want to feel that there's a sense of confidence. We always expect to see a sense of confidence in your community, because if that isn't there, young people won't take a chance. They won't stick around. They'll move on. They'll head to Southern Ontario. But if that sense of confidence exists, and right now we're still uncertain.
A lot of challenges there. I have to leave it there, Frank.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it on the first ONNpoint show. We'll be back right after these messages to close out the show.
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Listen to them. Children of the night. Alive! It's alive!
Welcome to the Machine Shop, our historic venue and gathering place for friends and family. Built in 1899 on the site of a Northwest Company trading post. Today we are a go-to venue hosting many expos, concerts, weddings, and more. While you're here, choose one of our dining experiences. Enjoy a quiet dinner at the Mill Steakhouse and Wine Bar, watch a game and try wood fire oven pizza and local draft at the Boiler Room, or treat yourself every day to gelato and local coffee at the Gelato Mill. For more information on the Machine Shop, visit machineshopinc.ca.
Quarter to 5, discover all kinds of treasures and never pay more than $5. Inventory is restocked every Saturday, and you can find anything from electronics to household items, toys, and much, much more. On Saturday, everything is $5 and the price goes down throughout the week, ending with 25 cents on Friday. We restock weekly with new items from various big box stores, so you never know what treasures you can find. Come visit us at Quarter to 5, 2510 Ashman Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
With over 45 years of experience, All Ontario Well Drilling offers hydrofracking and all well drilling services. Call 705-575-8088 or 705-257-9495.
Welcome back to the show. That's it for ONNpoint. I'm Andy Martins. On the next ONNpoint, we'll have the current president of the Sault Chamber of Commerce and the incoming president in September of this year. So stay tuned. That will be for the next show. And for now, Andy Martins, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.